everyone. Welcome to DCU Daily. Here we are, a very late show. We apologize for that, but we're going to just go full steam ahead. We're going to get through all these topics, and we're going to get there. We're going to do Tier List Tuesday. Hopefully, we'll be out of here before, 6 in the morning. But we'll get there. It's fine. So we have a ton of news for you. We have box office stuff. We still got international stuff to talk about. Then we have Movie Talk Madness, a lot of threequel talk in regards to Movie Talk Madness. Then we still got a glazed Project Hail Mary because, of course we do. Then we have a lot of MCU Weekly. We have a lot of Spider-Man stuff. We have some Punisher stuff. We have some Daredevil Born Again stuff, which just came out today. And then, of course, some Doomsday stuff. And then, of course, talking about TV Talk Terror, a little bit of Harry Potter. For that show, we have a little bit of a first look. So we're going to be getting into that. Then we have our quick hits. Then we have a bit of DCU Daily, of course. The main purpose as to why everyone is here. We have some quick hits. And we got a little bit of Lanterns talk. And then a little bit more. Maybe not. We'll see. And with all that, let's get this party started. It doesn't seem to matter what I do. Number 2.
All right, Mr. I need to paint my abs on to get nominated. You don't see Robert Downey doing that.
You're kidding.
You're
kidding. I can't open the envelope without the...
Warner Brothers is heading back into the Matrix with a new movie in the works.
Wonder what other surprises are in store.
I want to be Bruce Wayne.
I like that. You're gonna love me.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see Corbin's.
Right there.
You look ridiculous.
Well, not no more, he don't.
What, dude? I can barely understand you. Your accent's insane.
What
Give me a hand up. Nope, I'm actually okay. Thank you very much. Oh, wow. Wow.
Welcome to the news. Here we are. We have so much to talk about today. With that, I'm your host, John. Lovely to see you all. I am not alone, though. We have the return of Dan, who's feeling a lot better than from, his early eating yesterday. But that's okay. We all need a little bit of a break sometimes, even in the middle of a show. That's all good.
It was a long show, and I just kind of was not feeling well. I wasn't feeling well through the back half of it, and eventually I was like, I need to go lie
That's
down.
okay.
But I'm
That's
back,
okay.
and I'm glad you guys are in the chat. Honka Caleb. Hello Monique. Terrific Tuesday to you. Cola braised ham, buttered green beans, fig and honey loaf with butter. Wow. Again, can't even.
I don't know about that one. That's not my thing, but
Yeah. I mean, it's still impressive. But good stuff. John, yeah, why don't you lead the way on the show today in case I fall over my desk?
I was like, Dan, what the fuck happened to you? Because it was like, I hadn't heard from him in like all day. So I was like, oh shit, something happened. I'm like, this man still owes me money. I can't let him something happen to him. I'm like, Dan, you okay? So,
Yeah, no, I am still alive, as you can tell. This is not AI.
You're definitely not Sora. We'll be getting into that.
That was a gimmick. Was that a surprise? Was it a surprise? It wasn't a surprise. It wasn't a surprise. It was always a gimmick.
Eat dick, Sam Altman. So
I don't have the energy to really speak my mind completely today, but wow. And you know what? Bob Iger, talking up the AI and the we'll get to it. Let's get into what we're gonna get into first.
But still talking about saddening news. Not a major celebrity death, but still a sad one. Kevin DeSico, owner of Buddy, the dog who starred in the original Air Bud, has passed away at the age of 63. Still a very important part of the animal side of the movie industry. I mean, Air Bud, had the world by storm. I mean,
Yeah.
technically, it's like probably the biggest franchise ever, next to like Godzilla and James Bond, because of how many fucking sequels there are.
Aren't they
But
still working on that like new revival? So
I think so. Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, Kevin DiCiccio is it DiCiccio? How do you pronounce his name? DiCiccio?
DeChico. I don't know.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I like green beans and ham, but just cola braised. I don't know if I like that. Buttered green beans sounds good though. Not fig and honey loaf. That sounds no. That's a no from me, dog. But yeah, still sad to see, but still an integral part of, that history. And,
I mean,
Air Bud.
yeah.
I used to watch those and those sequels when they were on like Disney Channel way back in the day. I remember Michael Jeter was in the first one. So
Oh
that
yeah,
was,
I mean it's been a while. They've been casting I think they did cast they cast two new dogs as Air Bud. We talked about how they don't really look alike. But obviously the original, Buddy, yeah, well, not the dog, but I'm sure the original Buddy has been long gone. But yeah, Kevin, his
Mhm.
owner. Yeah, it's it's kind of sad, but it's part of, like, life, right? It's like you said, it's and we keep moving. The franchise, I'm sure, will hopefully have a tribute for him, maybe a dedication at the end of the new movie. Hello, Movie Spud, how are you doing today? But yeah, like you said, that franchise has had more iterations than most people care to remember, but it doesn't make the originals any less iconic. So our thoughts and prayers with Kevin and his family and friends, of course, in this time of mourning, as the owner of the original Buddy passes away at 63. So we'll leave that there for now. Let's keep going. We got some other news to get into. What are we getting on to next? We got some box office news.
Mhm.
Yeah, walk us
Apparently,
through this
the
one.
China box office Hoppers and Project Hail Mary lead a new look top 5. But Hoppers looks like it has taken home 9.3 million in its debut frame. Loving that Disney animation money. Very nice. And then I assume Columbia is distributing internationally. And Project Hail Mary has secured a second place in its opening weekend, taking in 6.9 million. And then the racing comedy Pegasus 3 was in third place with 5.7 million.
That's been like a huge movie in China for a while. So I think that's that's a locally produced film, like a Chinese movie. Yeah, by the way, Project Hail Mary, you're right, is being distributed by Columbia Pictures abroad. So they did like all the marketing for it, and the red carpet events and stuff was all through them for Project, like in London. I think the London premiere for Project Hail Mary, that was all, yeah. So yeah. But no, it's good to see that Project Hail Mary is doing well in China. It's certainly, again, still one of, if not the biggest markets in the world for movies, so they will need all the help they can get from there to hopefully build up, more of that box office presence before Super Mario Galaxy comes out. So because that movie will, in a couple of weeks' time, basically roll over the competition. And we'll talk about it later in the show. It's a good start for Project Hail Mary right now, and of course, it's also bodes well for Hoppers, a Pixar movie that, again, it's been a while since Pixar has had too many surefire bets at the box office, but this one seems to be more and more so one of them. Hello, Brogu. How are you doing? How's Brogu today?
But yeah, that's not the only bit of box office news that we have. Of course, Project Hail Mary is also leading the Ireland, UK box office. Project Hail Mary, which was, Sony Columbia Pictures. It debuted number 1 at the UK and Ireland box office, earning 7.4 million pounds in its opening weekend, according to ComScore. And then the Indian action title, Dan, can you pronounce this for me?
Dhurandhar the Revenge.
Thank you.
It's a sequel,
from
I think.
Moviegoers Entertainment, opened in second place with 2.8 million, and we'll get into that soon. And then Hoppers went into third place. Ready or Not 2 came in after that, and How to Make a Killing was after that. Then after that, Scream 7. So Project Hail Mary is still killing it. Nice to see. We're gonna be getting into some glazing soon, so there is that as well. But
Well, it's the UK and Ireland, they have a great South Asian population, and even if you don't have to be from that part of the world to appreciate and enjoy a movie like Dhurandhar, I think we'll talk about it later, but it's setting some pretty impressive records for
right
a
here.
Bollywood movie, an Indian movie.
82 million worldwide.
82 million,
which was more than fucking Project Hail Mary made.
Worldwide, yeah. I was looking at the weekend numbers the other day. I'm like, wait, how is there
at least
this high up the
domestically
list?
for us? Worldwide beat it, but
right. Well, worldwide, I mean, Project Hail Mary got 141, but like so to put it into context, Ranveer Singh, who you can see there, he's a star of the movie, and of course, Durandar the Revenge, the film, is now set the record for, I think, the highest opening ever worldwide for a Bollywood movie. It's the second highest movie from India. There's, I think, a Telugu language film. I forget the name. I think it's in the article that still holds the record with 92 million worldwide. But this is big because it's set a lot of records in a lot of international markets. I mean, most of that number actually comes from domestic markets too. More than half of that number, 82 million, comes from just ticket sales within India. So again, going to show you how big of a market India is. And in India, you have, they'll release a Hindi language movie will release in other languages like Telugu and Malayalam and stuff. So you'll get to see it in the regional language as well as be able to see it in this original language. RRR was originally in Telugu, and a lot of people saw it in that, but with subtitles. I watched the Hindi dub on Netflix, but I also saw it, in original Telugu with subtitles. So, and there's an English version of that too. So they do that pretty regularly. Yeah, Monique. I mean, in fact, where I am, there's several movie theaters that have a huge presence with Indian movies across the board, including Bollywood movies. And so, yeah, I mean, record-breaking opening weekend. And this is the time of the year they knew that they wouldn't have to worry about, Super Mario Bros. Or like any of the really big Hollywood movies that are coming out later in the year. So I think they got their release strategy right. And Dhurandhar the Revenge, 82 million opening. That's big. For a Bollywood movie, I've seen these numbers grow and grow over the years because the Indian market, I mean, it's a growing market. It's one of the most rapidly growing markets. But as far as, on the dollar parity with Hollywood movies, it's still quite a ways off. So 82 million is impressive, like a second biggest ever for an Indian film in general, the biggest ever for a Bollywood movie. The record, of course, overall for Indian films is 92 million. So again, it's not, I mean, Project Hail Mary, 140 million start is not, it's impressive, but it's not like the biggest thing we're probably even going to see this year for Hollywood. So again, to put it in context, but it's a good sign. And if you've seen any Bollywood movies and if you enjoy them, then I'm sure you have heard about this and you might be going to check it out yourself. Like Anthony here, of course. Yeah, I mean, I grew up on Bollywood movies, so I will always love a good one. But my taste in Bollywood movies probably feels a little dated at this point. I'm not as caught up to today. The last
old.
big
The future is now
from
old,
India
man.
was RRR. Yeah. Did you get some weird Final Fantasy yet? I'm sorry, Caleb. Like, we don't really control the ads too much in terms of what the ads are, but if they start bothering you, we'll see if we can figure out a way to turn them off for you. But anyway, that's the box office. I mean, of course, Project Hail Mary is the big one right now, still playing.
Hell
I think
yeah,
it was
bro.
number one
Hell
in
yeah.
majority of the markets it's out in. So, yeah, let us know if you have seen any of these movies. Hoppers, Project Hail Mary, Dhurandhar the Revenge, all big ones right now before we get into the summer movie season. But yeah, let's keep going, John. What are we getting on to next? I think we're talking some movie talk madness. Yeah, let's do some movie talk madness. What happened with Jumanji
Now
3?
it definitely has a chance.
Because Jumanji 3, of course, it was coming out December 11th, which would be a week before Doomsday, Doomsday and Dune Part 3. But now they've moved, because people were wondering for a while, like, will Jumanji 3 keep its date and then get steamrolled in its second weekend? Like, you still get a weekend to yourself before the big movies drop, but then chances are, like, it would have made almost no money relative to like the huge numbers that Doomsday and Dune are probably set to do. But Sony just made the move. They delayed it by a couple of weeks, so it now moves to the week of Christmas proper, because December 25th, literally, Christmas Day is when Jumanji 3 will release, and that will be a week after Avengers Doomsday and Dune 3, which are still set to release on December 18th. There is speculation in around town in Hollywood that they might be looking, one of those movies may yet move off the Doomsday record, especially now. I mean, John, I think here, good for Jumanji. They're gonna be coming out now in the shadow of Doomsday, so I don't know if that's any better or worse than coming out a week
It's
before.
a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. Like,
So
you would have had at least one
Yeah.
box office like weekend to yourself, which like would have gotten money, and then just
Some money.
tanked. Like, it would have gone to at
Yeah.
least at the most third place, and then you're just gonna kind of be stuck there for a while. Meanwhile, it's like now it's like, okay, maybe you can take advantage of the week later that maybe they won't be as popular, new movie, but it's like, bro, you're going against the threequel of Dune and fucking Avengers. You're not gonna catch up. So it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. I still think they should have stayed in where
I
they
agree.
were, because they would have had at least one weekend
Yeah.
where they would have been on top. And
Yeah.
now they have no weekend where they're on top, and just maybe taking advantage of the fact that like maybe it'll overtake one movie, but unlikely.
Like, to me, like, if I was Sony, you had that weekend, because, like, for example, here's the thing now, because part of one of the thing, and we don't have to go to that to talk about Doomsday extensively just yet, but part of what this now gives Avengers Doomsday and Dune Part 3, Disney and Warner Brothers, they can move a week forward, and because that weekend just opened up. Whereas Jumanji, I mean, if I was Sony, I would be like thinking, you're gonna make more money if you don't have those other two movies in theaters playing alongside you. You have a big weekend before everything else comes into play, and then you just take your shot at like whatever happens, because Christmas time there's enough money to go around that I'm sure Jumanji would have made some money, but you would have at least opened, like you said, at number one. And then you have 3 weeks of December holiday season to play, and then you have all of January. There's enough money to go around. I don't think there's a big movie coming out till January 15th, which is when Blumhouse has a horror movie from like the under Universal banner, which even that's a horror film. There is the werewolf movie from Robert Eggers also coming out around that same time, I think.
Yeah, God knows if I had the choice between Jumanji 4 and Robert Eggers, yeah, Robert Eggers is fucking winning, bro. Like, come on now.
But like, I don't think, well, but as far as mainstream audiences go, I mean, there's going to be enough people looking for horror counter programming to see it. It's probably not going to make as much money as it would have if there was less competition. But nonetheless, let's talk about Doomsday though, because now that Jumanji has basically vacated December 11th and moved to December 25th, that does leave December 11th open, because if you look at the release calendar, and I'm just going to do a quick fast forward on my end here, I have it up on my side, and basically you look at December 2026, Jumanji 3 was on December 11th, now it's moved to the 25th, and basically that same week the Angry Birds movie 3 comes out as well. So it's going to compete with that. And then Werewolf comes out that same week. So the weekend after Avengers Doomsday and Dune Part 3 come out, you got Werewolf coming out Christmas Day, Jumanji Part 3, or like you say, Jumanji 4, and then the Angry Birds movie 3 comes out all in that same Christmas week. It leaves the only other big movie coming out that month as of right now is The Violent Night 2, which the first one was fun. It comes out December 4th, but I don't think anybody's going to be looking at that as like, oh my god, that's going to be a really big movie. David Harbour is going to totally take on Avengers. Like, nobody. December 4th is that. Now, November 26th is when Narnia starts playing in theaters on Thanksgiving, but that's Thanksgiving. Madden comes out on Prime Video that weekend, so you can sit at home and watch that. And then that same week, Meet the Parents 4 drops, Fucker-in-Law, and all that. So, like, but that's Thanksgiving. You get into December. Now, to me, if I was Dune Part 3, or if I was Avengers Doomsday, basically, if I was Disney or Warner Brothers, I'd be looking at this and thinking, I don't know, John, maybe you tune into that Avengers countdown clock, and all of a sudden it winds down, just winds a week off the clock real quick, and you realize that Avengers Doomsday is going to be here a week sooner. Or what I think would be less likely, I mean, December is going to be jam packed. You're right, Anthony. But like, what I think it would be less likely is Dune Part 3 moves a week forward. Um, it's less likely because they've got that IMAX exclusivity. If they move a week forward, will they be able to adjust their IMAX schedule, or will they have to keep the same IMAX schedule? And then, I mean, if Dune stays the week later, then maybe they can, I don't think any other movie is going to take the IMAX screens, so maybe they get an extra week of IMAX out of it. So I don't know, where do you sit on this? Because one of the ways that the Wrap has in this article kind of talked about that both movies could succeed, at Figure Drawing, I think that's going to be the case, but there's enough money to go around. Like, I think they pointed out in 2018 there was the Bumblebee movie, the Aquaman movie, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, or I think was it Across the Spider-Verse came out.
Yeah, I think
and all three of those movies made money.
It did move
Bumblebee got the short end of the stick. Yeah, I mean, well, MTG, they did. Now it's coming out December 25th, Jumanji is. But like in 2018, we saw like Aquaman made $1 billion. It started out that in Christmas time. And then Spider-Verse movie, Across the Spider-Verse made over 500 million. Bumblebee made under 500 million, but still over 400. It was 460 something, which was at the time the lowest for a Transformers movie. But then again, you're coming off the highs of the Michael Bay era, and in terms of the box office at least. But three pretty big movies. That being said, none of those movies were probably as big as Dune Part 3 alone might be, because you might be looking at Dune Part 3 making $1 billion onto itself, which is pretty much going to be on par with what Aquaman did in 2018. And then you have Doomsday, which some people might be thinking could do 1.52 billion easy if the hype machine gets it to that, because we haven't even really gotten revving up on that. So my question to you would be, do you think, like all the facts I just laid out, now that they have December 11th open, there's no big movie coming out that week. Do you think one of these, Dune 3 and Avengers Doomsday, could move a week forward? Is it possible? Do they even want to do it? Would there be? Is it? I don't think at the end of the day it will be an ego thing, because it's ultimately about business and the money. But do you think one of these movies should move back into that Jumanji release window now that Jumanji's moved into Christmas window?
I don't know. It's just like the one that's more likely to move is Avengers Doomsday, considering Dune 3 has that exclusive contract. They don't want to move. They were there first. They have the contract for the IMAX screens. They want to stick with that. So I don't think they would give that up just to be like, oh, let's maybe get a little bit more money. And the thing is, Avengers Doomsday still I don't think will move. It is more likely to move, but I don't think it will, because it's like, I think they're confident, like, especially with, and we're going to be getting into the Spider-Man numbers soon, that they're confident enough that, like, yeah, we're going to be okay. We're going to get that Billy, and people are excited. So I don't think we need to move. And I agree with that, but the thing that's keeping Dune there is the IMAX screens, and they don't want to give that up, which is fair. And they were there first.
Yes, I agree with that 100%. What I worry about is, and I've watched a lot of content where people are like, this is good for the film industry. I think in this article they even point out that there's a few distributors who are like, this is what we are excited about. Like, and Barbenheimer kind of proved that we were ready for this. And I mean, that all being said, the optimism is one thing, but we have heard from a lot of distributors who are on the opposite end of the spectrum. I mean, even from people who went to see Barbenheimer, like, there were issues, like we were running out of like, remember they were running out of like things like straws and stuff, or I mean, not that like most theaters have clean bathrooms all the time anyway, but like, the movie going experience was degraded because we were having to, they're not staffed up all year long to accommodate this kind of demand. And I don't think movie theaters hire up the same way that, like, retail stores do for like the holiday rush. Maybe they should, but I worry that they'll be leaving some money on the table. And I mean, that part of this article here in the Wrap, which is, it's behind a paywall, is part of their pro subscription. But like they talk about it's happened before where movies have made money, but the key here would be for both studios to think that they didn't leave any money on the table is they share the over 25 male demo across both in terms of target audiences, like, you know, guys over 25 years of age. I think most of us here qualify in that, and hence why we're talking about this. But it's a situation where, like I mentioned, if either movie has a noticeable drop in its box office final numbers as opposed to what they were expected to do, that would then be a lesson hard learned for the future. I personally am hoping that one of these studios decides, you know, a week early like doesn't hurt anybody, and it doesn't really hurt the marketing all that much either. Like I said, if you're gonna move Avengers Doomsday to a week early, just wind the clock a little fast, and then all of a sudden there's one less week to tick off that countdown clock. That can easily be done. And the rest of the marketing, there's not really much else going on right now for Avengers Doomsday marketing other than that, you know, 24/7 live stream that they've got running with a Doomsday clock. So they can play it off with Robert Downey Jr. doing some kind of social media stuff. Like they can, that's easy enough. I feel like Doomsday, like you said, would have an easier time doing it. And even Dune Part 3, like the more I think about it, okay, keep that 3-week IMAX exclusive window, sure. Then moving a week forward doesn't hurt that. Moving a week, yeah, like moving back a week, back a week would be like into Christmas week. That would be more problematic because they've got the screens booked December 18th, that weekend for IMAX. And if they're not releasing until the week later, then IMAX would be like, well, what the fuck, bro? But if they move to December 11th, I feel like Dune Part 3 stands to gain more because, like Figueroa was saying, Doomsday is going to steamroll the box office. It will be the bigger movie. I don't think anybody is under any delusions that Avengers Doomsday won't be the biggest of those movies in December. So if I was Dune Part 3, Sony just gave you a lifeline. So I feel like Sony just put themselves in some trouble with being released now a week after Doomsday, which if Doomsday is as big as some people are expecting it to be, and some industry insiders really early on, I think it could be maybe not as big as Endgame, but it could be at least as big as Infinity War. So, and that's big. Like Infinity War broke all kinds of records when it came out. I mean, I don't think most of Doomsday's records will, Endgame's record will ever be touched. But as far as releasing, you know, at the same weekend as Avengers Doomsday, I think Dune Part 3 would probably be better served now. Move a week forward, come out on December 11th. You still get your weeks of exclusivity against Doomsday and IMAX. Chances are Disney's going to bully their way into most of the other premium formats. Although the idea is that they will split them fairly evenly from some of the reports we've looked at recently, I'm pretty sure Disney will be like, well, Dune's got all the IMAX screens. I mean, and Disney's done well without IMAX in recent times. Mufasa did fairly well. It didn't have any IMAX. We talked about last summer, well, I mean, Barbie, not even last summer, but like a couple of summers ago, Barbie didn't have IMAX against Oppenheimer, made more money than Oppenheimer, and Disney's done it with some of the other movies like I just mentioned. So, and, you know, they'll be seeing how Spider-Man does over the summer against the Odyssey. So I think that it just, for Dune Part 3, they have a lot to gain by moving forward a week. And that movie probably has their post-production in more of a stable place because of the way Denis Villeneuve's gone about making that movie. He's not extensively doing a lot of reshoots like Doomsday might be doing this summer because they haven't quite figured out how the pieces will fit together. So I think from a production logistics standpoint, Marvel might have a harder time moving forward by a week, but Dune Part 3 can. And if I was Warner Brothers, I'd be looking at that December 11th date now and like foaming at the mouth and being like, yeah, you know what, let's do it. Like, we'll still get those 3 weeks exclusive, but chances are we'll also get an extra 4th week because there's no other movie, playing at that time. That's what, like, the Fockers movie is gonna want IMAX? No, nobody gives a shit. Like, so, like, it's a Violent Night needs IMAX? No. So if you get 4 weeks of IMAX with Dune Part 3, that's a bonus for it. I think that, and then you get to open.
Well, I wasn't sure if they would lose the contract if they move the date, so that's why I was like, kind of. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure they can make that, like, it's not like oh, you need to be these 3 weeks. I'm just saying it makes sense for everybody involved now that Jumanji's made the move, which I still don't understand why Sony did that, because Sony was positioned better in December 11th, to be a week ahead of the chaos. But now that they have moved out of the way, then Dune Part 3, move forward. December 11, December 18, you get Avengers Doomsday, and then the week after you get Jumanji 3 and Werewolf and the Angry Birds movie. So, but the thing about those three movies are they're all going to counter program. Yeah, all three of those are going to counter program those other two bigger movies. But those, like, Dune would have been in theaters for 2 weeks by then, and Doomsday would be in a second weekend. And we know that Marvel movies are front loaded with the opening weekend. A lot of people go to see it in their first week, and then not just weekend, but during the week, because those movies, it was going to be the holiday season. People go to see movies during the week when they're off from work and school. So I think this makes all the sense in the world. If I was a betting man, I would say Warner Brothers is probably very seriously now considering moving Dune Part 3 to December 11th. Avengers Doomsday could also move. It's more likely to be Dune Part 3 because like that IMAX agreement I can't imagine would be as impacted if you're just moving, the movie coming out a week sooner. Because you're still going to get the IMAX screens. There's no other big movie to compete with. I think it was more of a question before when Jumanji was coming out December 11th. Not anymore. So yeah, there's a lot of sequels coming out this year, Caleb. But you guys let us know. What do you think? Do you think that with Jumanji 3 moving to December 25th now, should one of Doomsday or Dune Part 3 move? Like, should the Avengers stick to their December 18th release date, or should Dune Part 3 maybe change their mind and take over that old Jumanji date? I think it makes all the sense in the world for one of those movies to move. Give the fans more choice, give the theaters a little bit more breathing room. I think everybody still wins, and I think the movies will leave less money on the table if they did that. So but yeah, it's a Botox ad. We got some crazy ads playing on the show today. All right. Well, John, with that, let's move. Yeah, let's start glazing Project Hail Mary some more, shall we? Did you watch this clip from the Grand
I
Mon
watched
show?
this years ago when it
I know
came
this
out,
is
where it was
La La
like
Land. Yeah.
when Ryan Gosling invited his mom to the Oscars or the Golden Globes. And I think it was the Golden Globes.
Golden Globes. It was
where
the Golden
apparently
Globes,
his mom thought like having a beehive was due to like some terrible friends telling her, "Oh yeah, beehives are like back in." She's like, "Okay, I'm going to do a beehive," and then they were not back in. So Ryan Gosling was like, "Hey, Meryl Streep, can you tell my mom's hair that it looks nice?" She's like, "Yeah, no, I got you." And maybe this was the seed that was planted for Meryl Streep's cameo in Project Hail Mary. So that
I
could
mean, I
definitely
think
be
it
the
definitely
case.
was because the way she's like, oh, like they go to a commercial break during the show, and Meryl Streep sitting to the other side of Ryan Gosling, who Ryan Gosling apparently didn't quite appreciate that it was Meryl effing Streep sitting next to him. She was like, could you just like maybe like tell my mom like the bob looks good, because she's really, because she was sinking in her seat because she was sitting in front of, I think, was it Rachel McAdams or somebody, and so like the bob meant like this person behind, like the actress couldn't see, so she was constantly doing one of these, and so like her mom was like very aware of that. But yeah, it's a fun story because Meryl Streep, of course, like doing the commercial, like, yeah, I thought I was going to do a beehive. I didn't really think about it, but like now I wish I did. It's if Meryl Streep tells you that she wishes she did the beehive, then you're going to feel a lot better about having the beehive for the night. So I'm sure that was the beginning of a friendship between Ryan Gosling and Meryl Streep, a young Ryan Gosling, no less, at the time, younger at least. So yeah, that's great. I'm sure that's how we got to the point where Meryl Streep gets a voice cameo. And not to mention in the movie, he's like, Meryl Streep can do anything. It's just great. So I just figured, I was like, that's the origin story of how Meryl Streep probably was like, yeah, Ryan, of course I'll do a little voice cameo. Don't worry about it. Like, tell me where and when I need to do this, or where and when I need to be. But yeah, Project Hail Mary. Have you seen it yet? It's a great movie. Please go watch it. Let's keep going, John. We got more glazing to do. The glaze continues. Another rap article. This one here I think is interesting. This actually got written before the movie came out. This one a week ago.
About a week ago.
But John, like, we've talked about Amazon, like Red One, even the recent was a Crime 101, and they've done a number of movies that haven't done great at the box office. They announced themselves at CinemaCon a few years ago that they're going to be a proper theatrical distributor, and they've got deep pockets. They've got a slate of like 15 movies this year, by the way, which includes Masters of the Universe we talked about, and Project Hail Mary seems to be like that first legitimate box office statement tentpole movie, a proper blockbuster that Amazon is going to be putting out, and now it's in theaters. And I mean, Monique is saying they could have a Warner Brothers kind of a year, and they haven't gone off to a great start because, like I mentioned, Crime 101. What was the Chris Pratt movie, Mercy?
Mercy.
That shit the bed, thankfully.
But hey, Mickey 17 shit the bed.
That's also exactly so. Like you know, a couple of movies in, Warner Brothers wasn't looking so pretty, and then everything changed. As
When
the
the
year went
Fire
on with
Nation
Sinners.
attacked.
So if you scroll down to the bottom of this article, I think the last paragraph is what I want to kind of quickly read out, and then I have a question for you, because we talked about how Apple has sort of shied away from theatrical releases after having like 5 bombs in a row, and then of course F1 did really well, but they haven't really got a ton on the schedule, if anything at all, that's theatrically being produced. They have movies coming out, but nothing that's theatrically scheduled. But yeah, Project Hail Mary, they talk about in this article. I mean, it took the Minecraft movie to, wake up the box office last year, which was also Warner Brothers. And then of course you got Sinners and everything else that Warner Brothers did that, in a legendary year, that led to, 11 Oscars this year. But Project Hail Mary, conversely, is hitting theaters as they say in the article, as the year-to-date domestic box office total stands at $1.38 billion, 13% ahead of 2025, and just 4.3% behind the post-pandemic leading pace of 2023. If Project Hail Mary can clear $60 million and then post a strong second weekend that could make a $200 million plus domestic run reachable, then the box office will only continue to snowball, with the Easter windfall of Super Mario Galaxy, followed by Michael and The Devil Wears Prada 2 leading into the summer. John, this was written a week ago. We know Project Hail Mary opened to 82 million and worldwide 141 million, or 81 million domestically. But yeah, I mean, it outdid that expectation of 60 million. Like the highest expectations, like predictions, were 65 million. It did 80. So we're already, off to a better start to the year at the box office than a year ago. And Project Hail Mary comes out and is doing what it's doing now. And then you got Super Mario Bros. Coming out in a couple of weeks, and then Michael, The Devil Wears Prada 2, and so on. What do you think about the odds that, Project Hail Mary could hit that 200 million domestically, which if it does, you got to imagine when you add the international totals, you might be looking at maybe 500 million for the box office. And then, of course, Super Mario Galaxy will bring more people into the theaters. A lot of people might go back and see Project Hail Mary again. The word of mouth is great. Your thoughts on Amazon's chances of, I don't know, like getting some real positive box office results for the first time as a theatrical distributor?
It's definitely, it's definitely has a strong like undercurrent to it all. And it's definitely, I mean it technically already did, according to this article. It cleared 60 million domestically. And then, the fact that they've pretty much made around, I want to say almost around like almost 75% of its budget from the opening weekend, that's saying a lot. And I think the word of mouth will definitely help it. It's probably going to stay number one this next weekend because there's not a lot coming out. I think the most is that new Andy Muschietti movie, They Will Kill You, with Zazie Beetz, which, has been getting kind of mixed reviews. So the only other major competition that it'll have is Super Mario Galaxy when we reach that. And that's like a 4-quadrant movie. It's a family movie, kids, big IP. So that's probably going to knock it down to second place, unfortunately. But just because it's in second place doesn't mean it's like not doing well. It's probably going to still make bank. It's just that the projected earnings, I think from what I remember when we were talking about Super Mario Galaxy, was like around 160 million domestically. I think that's what it was, like some absurd number like that, or it's like, yeah, it's probably going to make a shit ton. And, then Hail Mary will be in its third weekend, which I don't want to say old news, but like, people go to the newest release thing and something that's meant for all ages, even though Project Hail Mary's pretty close to an all ages movie. Like, it's not like, maybe
There's
like
nothing.
some dirty things here and there, but for the most part, it's kind of a family movie in a way.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think there's anything in the movie that I would be afraid.
it's
to
like the
take.
only thing is like maybe booze that he's drinking, but like that's kind of it. Like,
I'm sure,
especially
a lot
like
of kids are,
with some
yeah.
subplots that were cut out of the book, which were
Mhm.
definitely more adult. And so it's definitely one of those cases where it's like, yeah, Project Hail Mary, you could probably take your kids to. Super Mario Galaxy, you're meant to take your kids to. Like, that's the whole thing. So it's a kids movie. So
Mhm.
I'm not saying it's bad, because the first one was great, made a Billy, and you know, the rest is history because Mario wins. So I still think Project Hail Mary is definitely gonna make a profit even before it hits Galaxy comes out. So it definitely is on the up and up for Amazon MGM, that like maybe they'll be the thing that Apple couldn't be after the success of F1, as we were talking about
Right.
yesterday and I think last week. Yeah, because that's, you know, it's a huge thing. It's definitely a huge thing for Amazon. Say what you will about Jeff Bezos, he might be Lex Luthor, but he knows how to make money. So,
Well, it's also
although he's
like
not, I know he's not the CEO anymore. I'm just making a joke. That's all.
right, but also like, you know, like Amazon MGM are not just producing movies, but they're also distributing them. Amazon MGM, like that's a big difference. Like to have the infrastructure, the relationships with theaters and stuff. Hail Mary is a PG-13 movie, but I think it's still, it's not like a hard PG-13 where you can't, you know, they didn't use the F word once, the
Yeah.
you know, the one that's allowed before you make it a rated R movie and all that stuff. They don't say Martha in the movie either. But like, you know, there's also I couldn't resist the temptation. But yeah, Project Hail Mary is a fun movie, and um I think it deserves all the credit. And then the difference between Apple and Amazon MGM, like I said, is Apple was working with other movie studios to distribute their movies, like Warner Brothers distributed F1, for example. So there's a difference between that and then Amazon MGM kind of taking that onto themselves. They've inherited, I think, the Sony international distribution deal for their movies from when MGM was still its own studio. So that expires in a few years. So that's why still Project Hail Mary got distributed by Sony abroad, but domestically it's all Amazon MGM. And I'm sure they'll take over those duties internationally as well. They're just kind of like dipping their toes into that. But yeah, Project Hail Mary. If you guys haven't already, go see it. If you saw it already, go see it another time. I'm gonna try to see it a third time
I'm
this
gonna
week.
try and see it a third time.
Yeah, it's I don't talk about movies like that very often, where I'm going to see them like 2, if not 3 or more times. The last time, like I said, was Barbie, which has been a few years now. So yeah, it's worth a watch. It's so much fun. The middle parts with the Rocky and Grace, those interactions are the heart of the movie, and I will sit through the rest of the film just to get to those moments. And it's always fun. And the movie leaves you smiling at the end, which there's not as many movies you go to that leave you smiling at the end these days. So, like in a genuine, fun, optimistic, uplifting way, you know? It's not just like the good guys won. It's just, in this movie, there aren't really any good guys and bad guys. It's just everybody trying to do their best. And I think that's a unique quality that not a lot of movies of this size and scale have. So that's also something I appreciate about Project Hail Mary. But yeah, with that, we're gonna put a kibosh on the glaze for now. But I'm sure we'll return to this as we move forward, because Project Hail Mary is playing in theaters right now. So go see it. But John, I think it's time that we get into the Marvel news proper.
Yes.
Walk us through all the MCU Weekly stuff. Apparently, Spider-Man Brand New Day has been breaking even more records. The trailer, that is, of course. Let's start there.
Yeah. So apparently, according to this, that it has crossed 1 billion views already, and I think the specific number is 1.1 billion as of right now. But yeah, it is the biggest trailer in history. Who would have thunk? Damn, the most popular superhero in the world is gonna get 1.1 million views when he actually starts to feel like the character. That's crazy, bro. It's crazy.
I mean, what's surprising, if not anything else, is like we have had plenty of Spider-Man movies in the past, right? But
Yeah.
I think it's the idea that this version feels like it's being done by Marvel. Like you said, it feels very true to the comics. It's a universally, like, Tom Holland doesn't have a single bad PR story around of him floating on the internet, right? So there's that too. And then of course you have a situation where I think Sony's earned the respect of a lot of fans from what they did in No Way Home, what they've been doing with the Spider-Verse, and this movie seemingly, like, well, it brings in everything else that people want, with Spider-Man crossing over with the Punisher, and we get Mark Ruffalo's, Bruce Banner, and probably other characters that might be hidden away. So yeah, I mean, the last Spider-Man trailer, the Brand New Day trailer, blew the two Avengers trailer records out of the water. And then it took Deadpool and Wolverine to outdo it, and now it comes in and it got more views than Deadpool Wolverine in the first 8 hours of release alone. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, to me, does this translate to like a $2-3 billion box office? It's still coming out in a very busy summer this year, but it got up to 718.6 million views. Crossing $1 billion doesn't exactly surprise me. If anything,
starting
it tells
to think
me
more
that
and
the
more I
hype
might
is
have to owe C Black $1,000
continuing.
because goddamn.
Yeah.
But unlike Yash, I will actually pay up because that I'm a man of standards. All right, even though I'm broke, but that's okay. But yeah, it's definitely, as it's, we think that it's not going to be this, it's not going to be that, and then it turns around and like Marvel's just like, oh yeah, no, we're going to kill it, and it shows that that Spider-Man is always going to be that moneymaker, even if it's if it's with lesser movies, whether it's Amazing Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man Spider-Man Homecoming, it's just always gonna make bank. Like, especially MCU, especially Tom Holland, it's gonna make bank. And
I think
I'm excited for it
still,
too. Like I don't like the MCU right now. I don't like what they're doing. I don't like their business practices. But like, I'm still excited for Spider-Man because Spider-Man is constant. So
yeah. It's that, well, Marvel's the house that Spider-Man built these days, and has been for a while. I think Sony.
Yeah,
very
too bad
much
the
regrets...
comics fucking blow. But
Yeah. Yeah. I bet you Marvel wishes they didn't sell off the Spider-Man rights back in the 90s. But
they didn't have much of a choice, bro. They had no fucking money.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, you know what? I mean, at least this is, again, Marvel Studios is in the fold. I'm sure they get some share of the revenue from the movie, which
just a year. You're good.
Will be big. So yeah,
next year you're fine.
But it's not surprising. This is impressive, not surprising, and I guess it bodes even better. Thinking like how those record-breaking numbers from Brand New Day Far From Home, or no. I'm getting so lost in these. That's why James Gunn just calls them 1, 2, 3. But No Way Home. No Way Home's, record-breaking trailer views led to the highest grossing Spider-Man movie of all time. So hopefully 1 billion trailer views means that the people will show up, and it will make at least 1 to 1.5 billion. And if it can cross 2 billion, it would be the first Spider-Man movie to do that, and it would be the only non-Avengers, non-James Cameron movie.
Yeah, it's Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to be coming out next year. I think next June is when it's coming out.
It's still on track. I mean, Lord and Miller was talking. We talked about it yesterday. They're saying they're still on track. So yeah. Until it's not, but like as of right now, it's still on track. So. But John, it turns out somebody we know very well from the Spider-Man world saw the trailer. Andrew Garfield. What did he have to say about watching
well, he hasn't seen it with sound yet because he was in a makeup chair and he didn't want to disturb people, but he's like, it looks really fucking cool, bro. Looks real cool.
Nice. Well, that's very Andrew Garfield of him to say that. But I suppose the guy didn't get a chance to ask him, so are you in the movie? Although it doesn't seem like, I don't think this one is going anywhere in that direction, or anywhere near that direction, but it would be interesting to see if either of those older Spider-Man characters did show up in Avengers. That is the rumor, so we'll see. But yeah, good. Andrew Garfield saw it. I'm sure Tobey Maguire. I mean, Tobey Maguire is not. He said that his love for acting kind of got reinvigorated by the whole No Way Home experience, but I haven't really seen him. Like, there's not a lot of news around Tobey Maguire doing new projects. Andrew Garfield seems to be busy as ever. So, yeah, good stuff from one Spider-Man to another. Keep on keeping on.
But will we ever get Kingpin versus Spider-Man? Probably not. But if they get their shit together, maybe they will. Which they won't, because they suck.
It seems like, I mean, because Vincent D'Onofrio keeps hinting at it, and it just seems like he's getting tired of being asked the same question over and over again. But it basically comes down to the rights sharing issue with Sony's deal with Marvel. I think it's only exclusive to the movies, so like Spider-Man can't show up in any of the TV shows, and then also I think it might be tied up with one of the other remaining like rights, not disputes, but like the licensing that Marvel did in the 90s, where Kingpin can't show up in a movie unless I want to say it might be tied up in a deal with Universal, but I'm not 100% sure. So basically, Kingpin can't be in the movies, Spider-Man can't be in the TV shows, and therefore the two of them cannot really, rub shoulders, or more likely, exchange punches or whatever. So like, yeah, it's not exactly news, but it seems like Vincent D'Onofrio is finally getting tired of being asked about it. So, and I don't think this will change anytime soon, because I don't think anybody's like, oh my god, we definitely need a Kingpin versus Spider-Man movie.
I mean, it would be cool. Like, not gonna lie, I think it would be cool. Yeah. But it's not like there's so many other Spider-Man villains that he hasn't fought in live action. Like, we haven't gotten Chameleon in live action properly. Kraven doesn't count. I mean, Kraven, that's another one we haven't gotten proper so we haven't gotten so many. Like, I mean, we've gotten like Venom 16 million times because Avi Arad can't stop jerking him off. Like, we finally got Vulture, but shit movie, good performance. We got Mysterio, another great performance, shit movie. And then we had all the others come back. So, it's like, hey, like, would it be awesome? Absolutely. The fan in me would love to see it. D'Onofrio versus Spider-Man. Awesome. Would be awesome. However, I think Tombstone is a good substitute if he has a big role in the upcoming movie. And with that, I think I think there's a plethora of great Spider-Man villains that we have not got yet that I would love to see Tom Holland fight in the next two movies. Scorpion, I mean, is another one that we're finally getting.
I know a lot of people are excited about that. Yeah, that seems to be like, even though he's probably going to be
even have some more Michael Mando,
a bit of a henchman
for quick hits. So there's that.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I would love to, like you said, I'd love to see Kraven. I would love to see this Spider-Man come across a version of Venom, maybe. There's possibilities. Let's just say there's a lot of ground to cover. That before we get to the point where Kingpin needs to be in the next one. And I don't think Marvel like is done with Kingpin and the Daredevil stories either. So I don't think Marvel's in a rush to, bring Kingpin onto the big screen. Look, ultimately, if there was enough of a need or a want, I think Sony would appreciate Kingpin being in the movie, and I think Marvel would appreciate putting Kingpin in a movie with Spider-Man. But it's just we're not at that point yet. So nobody's desperate for that. And there's certainly not a lot of ideas for Spider-Man movies, like you said. Hello Enterprising, long time coming for Scorpion. Yeah, absolutely. Even if he is just the henchman for Tombstone, I think it still would be a fun.
Whether that is or is not the case, we'll see. But
yeah. But yeah, like, speaking of henchmen, well, no, actually not exactly. But like, let's talk about the Punisher. We got the title now, John, for the special.
Which is One Last Kill.
One Last Kill.
Even though he's gonna be showing up in Brand New Day like 2 months
hopefully
later.
Not killing,
but
yeah. I think the idea is they're trying not to make him as lethal in his justice by the time he gets to that movie.
Which is
So,
like not the character, but okay.
I'm just
Apparently
saying.
a brief synopsis for The Punisher One Last Kill reveals as Frank Castle searches for meaning beyond revenge, an unexpected force pulls him back into the fight. Very simple. I can't wait to see it. I'm sure it'll be great, even though it's weird how they're doing it, because it's like, if this was coming out after Brand New Day, I'm not going to say my excitement totally diminished, but it's like, it's like the fucking poster is like fucking Logan-esque. Like, this motherfucker's gonna die, but it's like 2 months later he shows up in a PG-13 Spider-Man movie. It's like, it's hard for me to be like super invested when it's like, oh, he can't even say fuck because, PG-13, and he can't even kill people because, again, PG-13. So it's just like, all right, like, I don't know. It's just like, if the timing feels misplaced and feels a little weird. Am I still excited for it? Yes. Am I still going to watch it? Absolutely. It's just like, if it was coming, because I remember vaguely, I could be wrong about this, that they were going to come out with it in like fall, like late summer, early fall. I remember that. And then now it's coming out in May, and it's just like, oh, okay. Like, a little bit taken aback, because it's like, oh, all right. I guess coming out earlier, and now it's just like, oh, we're getting him in. Like, if he wasn't in Spider-Man or it was coming out later, I'd be like, hell yeah, give it to me. Now I'm like, hell yeah, give it to me? Question mark? And that's like, not much has changed, but it's like, I would say it went from like 100 to like a 90. It's still an A, but it's an A minus instead of an A plus.
Okay.
So.
Got it. I see what you mean. I see what you're putting down. Look, I like it. I mean, I saw there was a theory going on online that somebody was comparing this poster to like one of the posters for Daredevil Born Again. And Hello Enterprising. But yeah, it's just, and then like Spider-Man Brand New Day, like all the pieces are connected somehow. We know it's gonna be 60 minutes long. We know now the release date, like you said, May 12th, which would be a week after Daredevil Born Again finishes up its season. So, actually, is it? Wait, it's launched that is, as of now, scheduled to release on Disney Plus the same day as season 2 finale of Daredevil Born Again. Okay.
Yes.
Never mind. I thought it was a week after, but okay. So we're just gonna go from one to the next. So the whole thing about it all being connected does make sense. But yeah, like you said, the One Last Kill maybe doesn't have as much of an impact now that we know he's gonna be in the movie. But then again, Marvel has been known to not necessarily release everything in chronological order, but it would be confusing if like he dies in One Last Kill and then he's showing up in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And unless that's explained somehow, but I don't think they're killing off Frank Castle anytime soon.
No,
anyway.
God, no.
Yeah. But yeah, this looks fun. I mean, the poster looks nice and love to see it. I'm glad they finally gave it a title. It's about damn time. We know he's not going to be in the second season of Daredevil, so unless they're hiding something away from us, but we'll see. We shall see.
We shall see. Indeed. But the next thing we have, speaking of Born Again, Star explains to angry fan why John Bernthal's Punisher will not return in season 2. If John wasn't busy making his own hour-long Punisher film and hanging with that insect, we would have wanted him to join us for season 2, sure. Yet he had a wonderful opportunity to do the other projects, and I, for one, can't wait to see him in those. And this person, very, very angry, Vincent D'Onofrio was like, hey, how about stop being a little fucking bitch? How about that, you fucking loser? Like, you're losing your shit over a TV show. Come on now. I mean, if it was written by Tom King, then I would understand that level of anger. But it's not.
But like, but it's also, John, like, you think about it, like, does it make sense? Like, do you want to just
I don't know how season 1 ended, so I can't fucking speak for this. I don't know if like there was a good reason to write him out or not, so I don't know.
No, but like, I guess my point is like maybe he didn't have anything to do in season 2 anyway. So like, You know what I mean? Like, it's maybe we're not really missing all that much by not having him be in season 2. Like because I mean, maybe we'll think differently once the show is out, and then we're like, oh wow, really could have used the Punisher in that one. But I mean, it's not Punisher's show anyway. So I personally look at it, I'm like, I understand some fans' frustrations, but I'm also like, I don't know what we are missing necessarily, and then maybe we'll think differently once the show is out. But until then, it is what it is. I mean, there's certainly not going to be any shortage of if you're looking for your fill of Frank Castle. There's plenty of Frank Castle to go around.
To go around, buddy.
Yeah, so I don't think we'll be missing him in that sense. So anyway,
but with this, we have the release schedule for Daredevil Born Again. As well as some titles for the episodes. So this is what it's gonna be. Episode 1 is The Northern Star, which is today. March 31st, Shoot the Moon and The Scales of the Sword, episodes 2 and 3. That's the only double episode for some reason, I guess, because they want.
Did you guys watch it? Have you seen episode?
Yes, tell us what you think. If it's good, if it's bad.
We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah, yes. But I think they probably squeezed. I guess 2 and 3 made the most sense to squeeze into one day, so that May 5th can happen, and then they can do Punisher One Last Kill a week later. So I get it. So it's going to be weekly. Gloves Off, episode 4. Episode 5 is Grand Design. Then Requiem, The Hateful Darkness, and The Southern Cross. Signs of the Southern Cross. I mean, if they don't use that song, then I'll be mad.
I'm sure you won't be the only one. But damn, okay, all right. I mean, it's exciting. Also, like you said, it all makes sense with the release schedule. The episode names are very intriguing, to say the least. I don't want to get too deep into speculation of like what that means, but garlic bread for Steven sounds delicious. Steven, thank you for joining in. Hit the like button while you guys are here. We do appreciate that. Definitely don't forget to do that. And like M2G forgot, subscribe. We appreciate the subscription. That always helps. And we'll get to the Harry Potter stuff soon. But yeah, dominance from Mayor Fisk will continue at the beginning of the season. I'm not sure where we're going to end up with him by the end of it. But apparently, John, like they said in the last 5 minutes, we were talking about it yesterday, we're going to know where things are going for season 3 in the last 5 minutes of season 2, according to the showrunners. So do you think it will also have an impact on what we get to see in the Punisher special as well? Or do you think Punisher's sort of just doing his own thing, and whatever happens in the show will not affect the event? Like, it won't have an effect on the events of the Punisher special?
I mean, it's entirely possible that maybe there is some effect, but like, I don't think it's going to be... I mean, obviously... there is a reason why that they are going to be positioning it like this, but I think that it maybe some impact, but not a ton, maybe not as much as we think, but it'll have like a little bit.
Okay.
So
yeah, I guess, well, we don't want to get into spoiler territory, but okay, yeah, I'm just kind of curious because it's obviously we saw Frank Castle in the first season, so I'm just wondering, if there might be any coincidences there. But anyway, let's keep going. We got more MCU weekly stuff to get into.
Yeah, one more. And that is Doomsday related. James Morrison reveals why he had to lie. I mean, everyone lies about the MCU. You're fine, bro. I mean, you're an asshole for different reasons, but that's beside the point. But he said, I lied, I was lying, I was being coy, I was told by Marvel, you can't say anything, and I was like, what if I just say I'm not in it? And they were like, that's fine. And then there was all this litigation and stuff going on, and I was like, I don't want to get in trouble, so I just lied, I'm sorry. I am in it, yeah, I'm in Avengers Doomsday, I'm back as Cyclops. And then he was kind of going on and on about the classic blue and yellow costume, so there was that.
Okay. Great. Well, I mean, he's not the first one. I mean, Marvel probably wishes
Andrew Garfield, as we all say, deserves an Oscar for lying for a year about his role in No Way Home.
You will always, yeah. That's the way. That's the gold standard. Like that's the way you do it. Like if there's any way that you do it, that's the way you do it. Uh, but yeah, cool, good stuff. Um, anyway, let's keep going. We got more Marvel stuff to get into. I just thought this was like a cool little tidbit about Doomsday. We don't
Actually,
have a
this
ton
is
of
the
Doomsday
last bit
news.
of Marvel stuff.
Oh, that is.
that
All
we
right.
have.
Well, then we move on. We move on to TV Talk Terror, as it were. Let's get past the Marvel stuff for a moment. I'm sure we'll
Yes.
be revisiting them in quick hits. Yeah, Feige does have snipers everywhere. You're not wrong about that. I've looked out my window a few times. I'm like, do I need to put the X on the window, and then wait to see what pulls up on the street nearby? That's a X-Files reference for those of us who know who know. If you know, you know. Let's keep going though, John. We got some TV Talk Terror to talk about.
Yeah, and the first thing is Prime Video Europe is doubling down on drama and says the message is more series and more series and more series. So
Yes. Tony always gets my references. The Mr. X reference. That's right. That's right. Speaking of Mr. X, I mean, the X-Files was huge in the 90s, and Prime Video Europe seems to be doubling down on doing more TV shows. It makes sense. Look, movies on streaming services work, but clearly Amazon Prime knows that movies that have the theatrical rub on them do better when they get to streaming. So I think for them to be focusing on a lot more TV shows makes sense. And they've been doing that in the US market as well. Between all the they've sort of got the monopoly on like the spy thriller genre, between the Reacher show, and of course with Cross and with Jack Ryan, and there was the one that they did with Michael B. Jordan, which was a movie which I thought was going to go into a TV show but didn't. They've got that covered, and some more series. Just it makes sense. Streaming services are built for TV shows. You binge watch stuff, you get people hooked. So yeah, Tony, I got you. But yeah, let's keep going. Yeah, Anthony, we're gonna be eating good if you're into the street level MCU. There's a lot of that this year. But you know what? Street level Harry Potter is what I'm interested in, John. Because the Harry Potter TV show gave us its first look today with a look at the costume of Harry Potter.
yeah,
I'm sure this is the Quidditch team costume. Apparently he's in number 7. So he plays on the wing, like Cristiano Ronaldo and David Beckham did for Man United back in the day. Dominic McLaughlin, you can see that there. We got a first look. It looks like they're going to the Quidditch stadium. This looks fun, and I appreciate it. John, what did you think about this?
looks cool. Yeah,
Fair enough.
kind of it.
There's not much there, but actually we got they were doing all these like promotions with influencers, and
Yeah.
so a lot of those influencers ended up giving us a better look because they got to visit some of the sets, and I thought that was interesting. Did you see any of that stuff? I mean, I think we have an article about that. Do you want to go through that? Because that to me was more intriguing than any of this other stuff, to be fair. Like we got to see a look at some of the sets, like what's the platform? Is it 9 3/4?
Yeah. But this one says that there might be something coming tomorrow. Whether it's like
Mhm.
more stuff, then we'll see. But, maybe it's a trailer. Probably not. More stills, most likely. But we do get some set videos which reveal. We did get an outside look at King's Cross Station with him and Hagrid. I do remember seeing that way back when. But yeah, we do get a little bit right here. So you do get this person talking because we don't fucking care.
Well, we don't care about that, but
So
like
it's just
there's-
essentially inviting
yeah.
people.
Yeah. I mean, they're gonna go big for this. They already are, and I bet you that influencer content will keep coming out for weeks and weeks
Yes.
and weeks. I was actually quite interested. I don't know, do we have this link? Yeah, if you go to the next one, like we got a closer look from that platform 9 3/4. Like and you got a little bit of a look at the leaky cauldron, but I was most interested in some of the photos that kind of pointed out that apparently if you look at the design of Hogwarts, the Hogwarts in the show is going to be bigger than the Hogwarts from the movies, like the castle and everything. And I think we're all expecting the teaser to drop tomorrow if they drop what they did today, but we'll see. I mean, usually a lot of trailers drop on Tuesdays, but I wouldn't be surprised. It's still
Why is that a
ways
thing?
out.
Why is it Tuesdays?
I'm not really sure. I feel like I should know the answer to that question, but if I'm being honest with you, I'm not really sure. I'll take a look. I'll look into it. See, like maybe there must be a reason why. But we do usually get a lot of big trailers on Tuesdays. It's not exclusively Tuesdays, but it tends to be a lot on Tuesdays. But anyway, let's keep. Well, if you scroll down here, I think there was a photo I wanted to kind of quickly look at. I think there was some photos from
I don't
X.
think there was a photo.
Am I wrong about that? Is that not this article? I thought there was another one.
No.
Or is it the one from before this?
Oh, that just showed this one. I don't think we've gotten a lot. I think we just got that Quidditch robe shot.
No, you know what? Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can find this because to me. Oh, here it is. Did I not get this to you? Hold on. I'm gonna send this to you. If you can pull this up. I wanted to talk about this for a moment. Oh, of course, that's not what I just sent, is it? Here you go. I just sent it in our Slack channel, but there was some there was some concept art basically that got leaked, and it shows the new Hogwarts, and it looks slightly different from the one from the movies, which of course was based on a real castle in the UK. I mean, I'm okay with a live action adaptation. I mean, a lot of people would be like, yeah, I want to see I'd rather have the live action, but it's also like, how closely are you tied to the original, you know? I think for a lot of people, the belief is that we're going to get a trailer tomorrow. Yeah, March 25th, the tomorrow teaser posted HBO social media accounts 24. Exactly. They've been teasing it. So it would make sense that they would put out a teaser. I can't imagine they're going to show too much, but they've been filming for a long time. So they definitely probably have enough to definitely give us a meaty teaser.
I mean, we got some grainy ass images, but you know.
Well, this here, John, this is from, they put out the title treatment before. You look at that version of Hogwarts, looks bigger than the Hogwarts from the movies. So I was kind of like, oh, this is interesting. That's the crest, of course, for Hogwarts, for Hogwarts Express. And yeah, Tony, HBO Max has been teasing it tomorrow. With
it looks like they're using the same
symbol.
exact fucking train though.
Well, it said Warner Brothers Studio leaves, then you can actually go and tour this, so it makes sense, you know, which I appreciate. It's very practical.
Okay, that makes sense. All right.
Yeah, it's very practical. So this looks great. I love it. Dude, I will be watching that trailer 5 times over, and I'm sure we'll be breaking it down. So
I'll watch it once to see if it's good, and then that's probably it.
Yeah. I was a Harry Potter fan growing up. I definitely was a big fan. I read the books, I watched the movies. They'll always be very fond memories that I'll have. So yeah, the teaser will be dropping tomorrow. That is it. Again, it's not confirmed, but it's most likely where they're heading with that. So we'll be talking about them. We will be talking about them. Yeah, we did the rankings for the Harry Potter movies. I don't think we did a fan cast Friday because all these castings have already been done for the TV show. But yeah, you guys let us know. I mean, what could we do if we did a fan cast Friday? Who would be cast? Maybe Voldemort, because we technically don't have Voldemort yet. So we could do that. We already have a few ideas for this Friday. We should probably put up a poll. We'll be putting up a poll before the end of the day. So yeah. Do I? Oh, I don't know. Maybe I need like some rounder glasses, but thank you, Tony, for the compliment. Yeah, the next Invincible episode also drops tomorrow. Good one. Hey, speaking of, let's get into the quick hits.
First things first, John Wick spinoff about blind assassin Kane gearing up production under Donnie Yen's direction, which is very exciting because he was definitely one of the best parts. Probably the best part about the last John Wick movie, so there's that. So yeah,
I mean, they announced
Donnie Yen. I'll take it.
yeah, I mean, CinemaCon's coming up. They announced it at CinemaCon, I want to say a couple of years ago now. So I'm glad that finally it's in the works. I can't wait for this. This is going to be fun. And hopefully a more successful expansion of the franchise than with the Goblet Ballerina. So I think it deserved better, but it didn't do as well at the box office. So I'm excited.
Although speaking of CinemaCon, Caesar's Palace venue will be named the Dolby Coliseum during 2026 event. So got to get that Dolby name drop in there.
Isn't it like the Oscars where they take place as a Dolby Theater, I think it's called? So yeah, it makes sense. I get it. I get it, you know, it makes sense. Dolby's gonna get theirs, and power to Dolby. Then it will just go back to being called what it was called before afterwards, but it's fine.
Yep. But Lee Byung-in and Han Jae-min star in The Koreans, a remake of FX's The Americans at Disney Plus. So is it like is it like actually a direct remake, or is it like a weird kind of spin-off? Like, it's like
I feel like it's like a remake adaptation, like it's a reimagining of the show. I'm guessing this is like North Korea, South Korea, maybe like, so they might be North Korean spies.
Both parents actually are elite North Korean spies working to bring down the South from within.
There you go.
So
yeah, it makes sense. It would be it's relevant. I mean, he was in Stranger Things, Lee on the left there. But yeah.
But next up, Oliver Stone and Josh Hartnett underway on White Lies, director's first movie drama in a decade. I really feel like I'm starting again as when I made Platoon and Salvador in 1986. So would I watch this? Probably not, because Oliver Stone is like a fucking weirdo conspiracy theorist, but like, you know, whatever.
Well, Josh Hartnett's doing more stuff, so cool. Good.
Yeah, I do love Josh.
Yeah.
Next up, 13 Going on 30 movie reboot set at Netflix with Emily Bader and Logan Lerman. Jennifer Gardner to executive produce, aka she doesn't give a fuck and she just gave the shit her blessing, so they give her an executive producer credit. So
well, 13 Going on 30 is getting a reboot, everybody. It's gonna be on Netflix.
You didn't think it would happen, but here we are.
Yeah, there we go.
Next up, Stepsisters, Disney's live-action Cinderella spinoff. Stepsisters lands director Akiva Schaffer, Naked Gun writer. So Dan Greger and Doug Mand, who also worked with the filmmaker on Chip and Dale, will pen the comedy film's script. Definitely a weird choice, but like maybe it's gonna be more like tongue-in-cheek. So we'll see.
You never know. It will be interesting.
I don't
have
know,
much else to add to that, unfortunately.
I don't know.
That's
Jesse Williams boards Black is Beautiful, the Quam Brathwaite story, documentary as EP. So that's cool. Way to go, Jesse Williams.
Nice. Sweet.
Anyway, Lola Kirk, Pauline Chalamet, who looks literally like her brother in drag, and John Gallagher Jr. joined dramatic comedy Swim Fishy from Kristen Buckles Cantrell. So don't fucking look at me and say that she doesn't look exactly like Timothy Chalamet.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
With long hair. Get out of here.
You're not wrong at all. I think we've talked about this before. It's very eerie, the resemblance, but yeah. Swim Fishy, that sounds interesting.
But
what is it?
I do like John
comedy?
Gallagher Jr. I don't really know Lola Kirk, and I'm not really familiar with Timothy Chalamet's sister, so
I mean, what the fuck is a dramatic comedy? But anyway, whatever, it's fine.
A drama. It's like in between a comedy and a dark comedy, where it has a lot of dramatic elements, but it still has like funny aspects to it.
Okay.
Like some really like darker humor, but it's not like super duper dark humor. The Skeleton Twins is a good idea of a really good dramedy. So that's like the first thing I think of, but yeah.
Okay. Got it. Thank you for the explanation.
But next up, Bill Camp, Roman Griffin Davis, Michael Rispoli and Jordana Spiro joined coming-of-age crime thriller Operation Fastlink. That's the thing that intrigued me about this headline. Coming-of-age crime thriller. I'm like, okay. You have my curiosity.
That is interesting.
With that one. So, yeah.
Operation Fastlink is an
We don't
interesting
fucking
name.
talk about that goddamn movie. Ew, gross. Anyway, speaking of ew, gross, Bridgerton, season 5 sets Francesca and Michaela Sterling.
They look beautiful.
As
What are you
romantic
talking
leads, filming now underway. Cool, great.
I talked to Fiona about this. She apparently knows what who these characters are and why they're significant. So I wish she was here to talk about this because she would be able to explain a lot better, because I already sort of lost track of what the context of this is. But if any of you guys are or gals are watching Bridgerton or are big fans, then I'm sure this means a lot, and this will be a great part of season 5. So good stuff. Congratulations to all Bridgerton fans. The next season's underway in production now. So
Christopher Pike's YA supernatural thriller Remember Me to become Tubi movie, which means it's probably not going to be that great. Charlie Gillespie and Brec Basinger to star. I do like Brec Basinger. She was an amazing Star Girl, so you know that's kind of nice. But I'm probably not going to watch this. Sorry.
I mean, fair enough. This looked interesting. Yeah, Brec Basinger, I wish her all the best. I mean, she did a great job. I thought the show was a bit up and down, and ultimately maybe just a step better than the Arrowverse, but not that much. So, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't really get it's young adult stuff. I think the young adult genre has sort of had its heyday at this point. So, but still, if you enjoy that kind of thing, and you know, if you want to support Brec Basinger, then yeah, definitely. Of course, and then also Charlie.
They could have gotten less grainy ass pictures for the goddamn thumbnail, but sure. Shane Black tackling adaptation of Don Pendleton's The Executioner books for Sony. Joel Silver reteams with Black for the effort and will produce with Don Murphy and Susan Montford at Angry Films. So I'd watch the fucking shit out of this. I really enjoyed Play Dirty. It wasn't great, but it wasn't like this grandiose return to form for Shane Black. But after, you know, he got director blacklisted for so goddamn long, I'm like, no, it was pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah. No, I appreciate this. I saw this was in the work. This has sort of been in the works for a while. I mean, this will be interesting. I think that genre has also had a bit of a renaissance of late. So yeah, good stuff. The Executioner. I'll be watching.
Yeah. Speaking of something else you'll be watching, Dan, is Beekeeper 2. Picked up by Germany's leading independent Leonine Studios. So...
You know I'm going to be watching The Beekeeper 2. Who do you think I am? I am a big fan of Jason Statham as well. Yeah, I'm glad this is. I mean, they've got some. You know, this is, I think, financing and distribution. So yeah, good stuff. I hope they make like 12 more of these. I want there to be like a Beekeeper Forever at the end of the saga. So yeah.
But
the Christopher Nolan tier list is coming up after the show.
Shohreh Aghdashloo, Piper Kurta, who played the main character in Hoppers, and more joined Nava Mao in comedic thriller The Dregs, including your boy in that Tubi movie. So there he is again.
Yes, there
Very
you go.
nice.
Very big day. Shohreh Aghdashloo was great in The Expanse. She's done other work, of course, as well. Stephen Lang, of course, from the Avatar franchise. Comedic thriller, The Dregs. More comedic, other genre combinations. I'm not putting everything in the S tier for Nolan movies. Calm down, everybody. Like, seriously. I know Sir President Christopher Nolan is amazing, but like, not everything he does is tier.
There's gonna be at least 2 things in A tier, but then that's it. Like, it's not gonna go low.
Most yeah. I mean, John watched The Following for today's show, guys. He's committed. John is committed to this effort in a way that is unmatched, and I could not be more proud that John has. John, you guys got John to watch a Christopher Nolan movie for this.
I mean, I was planning to watch them anyway. I guess the thing is, I had no free time over the weekend, so I couldn't watch more of them.
It's all good. I mean, it's all, I know. I still respect it.
I say it's a good movie. I say it's a fucking good movie. Get out of here. Out of here. But anyway,
let's
we
keep
have
going.
a couple more quick hits. Apparently, there's gonna they got that Gundam movie that's coming out. Michael Mando, our Scorpion, is going to be in said film. Whether it's going to be good or not, we'll have to wait and see. But you know, if you're excited for it, then boom, you got fucking the best character from Better Call Saul in it too now.
No, this will be fun. I can't wait to see what this turns into, and I never really watched Gundam a lot growing up, but I'm actually very curious to see what they make of this. So yeah, I'm excited. I was telling Fiona about that too. She actually watched Gundam growing up, so and she was like, "Yeah, this looks interesting." I'm sure we'll be tuning in when it comes out. She's been watching the One Piece show, and she was kind of crying with the backstory of Chopper. It's kind of really sad, but anyway, good stuff, Netflix.
Anyway, Ahsoka season 2 rumor reveals whether Abeloth will make her official Star Wars. Who cares? Who fucking cares? I don't care. Do you care?
No.
I don't even fucking know who Abeloth even is.
I'm sure Dave Filoni will tell us if we ask.
Cool,
nicely.
Great, don't care. Frankie Muniz's race car driver career and NASCAR schedule forced Malcolm in the Middle reboot to film Sundays to Thursdays. It was exhausting. Well, that's what you get for being a fucking race car driver. No, I'm just kidding. It's but that's how it be. And then Michael J. Fox
I didn't know he was a
comes
race
in and is
car
like,
driver.
That's cute.
I mean, I didn't know he was a race car driver. That's pretty cool.
Was, yeah.
Like, I genuinely, I was surprised. I'm like, wait, what? Frankie Muniz is a NASCAR driver? Okay, interesting, man. That's awesome. I'm glad they made it work. So, yeah, this is good stuff.
And then
I know you enjoyed that trailer, so.
Eat a fat dick, Sam Altman. Now we just need OpenAI to fucking shutter its doors forever, and we are good. Suck a dick, Sam. Eat a fucking dick. Eat a fucking dick. Suck this dick, Disney too. Fuck all y'all. Anyway.
Well, what's the story? Can you read the...
So you know that shitty AI, like...
Sora
like,
app? Yeah.
Streaming service, internet service, social media, whatever the fuck it was supposed to be. Sora, that was literally there just to make shitty AI slop. And yeah, so it turns out that thing had no weight to it, no money, so Sam Altman had to fucking shut it down. And then on top of the fact, Disney exit the deal with OpenAI to create Sora generated shit for their for Disney Plus, because it's like without Sora they couldn't use it. And it's definitely a win for artist content for now, until Sam Altman and Disney can find an alternative, and then we're gonna get more AI slop. But for right now, we're on the up and up.
No, I appreciated this because I mean, it kind of throws egg on Disney's face with like Bob Iger just walking out being like very, we look at AI as this tool and very forward looking, that Josh D'Amaro. I'm really glad that they finally did this, because this was a complete, publicity stunt, because it was way too expensive. It made no money. There was no path to profitability for Sora. OpenAI was just trying to trying to do anything to pump up and their own value in the public eye and try to convince investors to keep pushing, pumping money into the company, because unfortunately it's AI is not probably going to be the next big thing that revolutionizes the world, at least not in the way that it's been promised. And Sora was like seemingly just a way for them to sort of, I don't know, dupe the investors into believing the hype was still real, even though I think the bubble is getting closer to bursting than ever. And Disney, a lot of the reasons why they signed up for this was because Sora was going to be a part of like how they were going to integrate it into their own platform with its ability to do generative AI with Disney characters that fans could create. And so I guess they don't see any point in doing this with Sora, being killed off. So it's good. I mean, Disney will probably put that money towards doing something in-house. So it's not like Disney's giving up on
Yeah.
it, but I'm glad this ended, because it was also like, dude, for all the the water, the electricity, and everything else, and the noise pollution, it's just like we're brute forcing our way into a very dark version of AI, led future. Because the other day I was like, all I wanted from an AI was like Jarvis, like, and what we are getting is something that is completely not that. What problems is this kind of AI solving? Not really any. So yeah, I'm glad this is dead. And long live creativity and human art, rather than whatever this crap was, because they then encouraged China to do their version with ByteDance and all that stuff, and it's just, I'm glad we're past it. I'm really glad we're past it. So
Yep. But anyway, suck dick. Anyway, speaking of sucking dick, Wuthering Heights apparently it sets its digital and Blu-ray release, which if you were really excited about this, you can, buy or rent it digitally on March 31st, and you're able to buy it on Blu-ray, DVD, and 4K on May 5th. So if you guys really want to buy porn that isn't good, instead of just getting like a Brazzers subscription, then you can get this.
Okay, I can't top that, so I'll be like, cool. There you go. What's the date? Did you give? What was the date again?
It was March 31st for digital, May 5th for physical.
Okay. Great. I'm sure you can't wait to get physical with your Wuthering Heights DVDs or Blu-rays. Anyway.
I mean, there is a hole in the center, so
And like you once upon a time said, a hole is a goal.
Where there's a hole, there's a goal.
Where there's a hole, there's a goal. In the immortal words of John. Yeah. Anyway is the right way to go. Work our way past this. But,
thanks for watching the news portion, guys. We're gonna be heading over to DCU Daily next, but remember, stay tuned because we gotta get #blessed up in this B.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you, really, I'm doing sublime. I never wait in the stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto. Honka honka.
Welcome to another episode of DCU Daily. We got some DC stuff to get into today. Well, as the name implies, DCU Daily. We have to talk about Supergirl. And the Green Lantern saga continues. And then of course, we do have an update about the Jimmy Olsen TV show that still doesn't have a name, but we might know the genre now. So we'll talk about that. We got a couple of DC quick hits. And we'll look ahead to Christopher Nolan, Sir President Christopher Nolan's, of course, Tier List Tuesday. All of his movies will be ranking right after DCU Daily. So let's dive into all that. John, what are you most excited to talk about today?
Anything in regards to more puppies, because I do love me some puppies, so I do like that.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love puppies? I
a crazy person, Dan. We don't talk about those people.
Yeah, we don't talk about that. But what we do talk about are the quickest, John. So let's get right into those.
And speaking of puppers, this is a bit old, but like this is kind of a little bit longer shot of puppy crypto from Supergirl. We did get like a quick bit of this a couple months back, but I think this was like a longer shot. So yeah. Nice. Doggos.
This
like,
is great.
Even if it's old,
who
gives a shit?
So
like,
cute.
dog. There we go. We're going to get like 1,000 more views because of this. Because, dog. Hello.
This is great. Puppy crypto, baby crypto, give me all of it. Young crypto, without the cape, before he was fighting crime and saving people in Metropolis and the universe over. So cute. This is gonna sell the movie more than probably anything else. I mean, maybe other than Lobo, but yeah. You brought that dog, man. Like, yeah. This is for
that
all
dog,
that.
man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Love it. Love it.
But that's not the only quick hit we have. We have Ruby Sear, who is in The Gentleman, has been casting Clayface. We obviously don't know the character she's playing, but I assume she's in the movie. It's just her casting announcement didn't get, stated until now. So I would assume she's probably the love interest, maybe like the girlfriend of Matt Hagen in this movie. So that's entirely possible. So we'll see. But yeah, or maybe like a co-star in like the movie he's making. So
I mean, this was something that people picked up on IMDb because Ruby Sear's listed now as being part of Clayface. So there's some speculation as to who she would be playing. But yeah, I mean, she's now again, like you said, it wasn't something that kind of got put out in the public eye, and I don't think anybody.
If IMDb is something to go off of, because regular people can edit that, so who knows?
Right. Well, they do have an editing process. Well, like an editorial Q&A process. But yes, you're right. It's not, IMDb is not always reliable. So until the movie comes out, I mean, but like still, this is as much of a sure thing because usually IMDb becomes more reliable as a source the closer to the release date, and especially this movie is now in post-production, has been for a while. So I think we could trust this information more so than if this was, something we learned about, I don't know, like 6 months ago. So in that sense, I think this is relatively on point, much more. I would trust this information. And yeah, like you said, like the characters that she could be playing, I mean, those would all make sense. And yeah, we'll see what I'm sure we'll be getting a trailer for this sooner than later because Supergirl's on the way. I don't expect them to be marketing Clayface very heavily until Supergirl drops, but we're not that far off that time. So yeah.
But next up is the Penguin. Casey Bloy says it's complicated. Colin is going to be in the Batman Part 2 movie. He's got other movies going on, so I would say it's certainly complicated, but something everybody involved would like to figure out. I just don't know, which is pretty much, it's probably not happening, which is fine. Have other spin-offs because, other characters in this universe that deserve a spin-off, so even if it's not the Penguin, I still think it would be great.
Yeah, no, I feel like the enthusiasm around this has really died off recently. I can't tell how much it has to do with, how much it has to do with Matt Reeves just not really being not really sure where things are going next. The Penguin is not going to have a big role in the Batman Part 2, but Colin Farrell was attached to that Sergeant Rock movie for a while before it got shelved, and he's got a bunch of other stuff going on as well. So, and Casey Bloy's contract runs out at the end of this year. I mean, like early next year. So Casey Bloy's might not be around for more than a year unless he re-ups with the new Paramount ownership. So I mean, I hope Clayface is a sleeper hit, Anthony, by the way, but yeah. So Casey Bloy's talking about it in uncertain terms, I think, has a lot to do with he may not be around to see it through, and Matt Reeves, I don't know what plans he might have for this franchise beyond the second movie. There's no guarantee we might get a third Batman. I mean, I hope you do, but I have a feeling we'll get some more positive updates around this if we were to get a season 2 of the Penguin once the Batman Part 2 is finished filming, which hopefully will be by the end of this year, if not early next year. But and then the contracts and the whole Warner Brothers merger thing, I think, will play a role in all of this, because Paramount, I mean, most new ownerships kind of want to start with a fresh slate, a clean slate, but they would roll over anything that's already working. Clearly the Penguin works, so if they have any solid ideas, I think the showrunner, what was her name, Lauren, was it LaFranc? Was it? Am I forgetting? She got a new deal with HBO, so she's gonna be sticking around in at the home box office channel for a while. So they've got a few key creatives locked up. Just Casey Bloys, and the future of Matt Reeves with DC is a little more uncertain beyond the Batman Part 2. So yeah, I mean, they've taken their time with it, so they'll probably take their time with this as well. The Batman Part 2, that is. Yeah.
But next up, DC Comics supporting, Jorge Jimenez in his Spider-Man cosplay, because even though it's for the Superman Spider-Man, crossover, it's he decided to dress as Spider-Man, which was very nice to see. Good morning, Planet. Today I dressed up for the occasion. I finally have them in my hands, and tomorrow they'll be in yours. Superman, Spider-Man. Thank you all for the hype, support, and love for this project during all these weeks/months. The day has arrived. It's tomorrow, and I sincerely hope you like it. And then DC Comics say, your friendly neighborhood Jorge. Nice.
This is great. I mean, he looks great in the costume, and of course, it's a friendly neighborhood reminder that you guys can go pick this up. I mean, it's past midnight on the East Coast as we're doing this show live, but yeah, Superman, Spider-Man #1 drops in your favorite local comic book stores today or Wednesday, March the 25th. So go get one, read it, tell us all about it, and I'm sure we'll be talking more about it in the weeks and months to come. So.
That's not the final thing, but we also have the Jimmy Olsen spinoff. It apparently will be a crime mystery comedy that hasn't been seen in the superhero genre. This concept centers on Olsen as well as other Daily Planet reporters, minus Lois Lane and Clark Kent, of course, too expensive, who tackle cases involving superpowered villains. And Variety's report confirmed that the first season will indeed focus on Gorilla Grodd. This will mark Grodd's live-action DCU debut, but the character did briefly appear in Creature Commandos. It's a different title that hasn't been announced yet. This is the co-showrunner, Dan Peralt. We were tossing around some names last week. We really like, honestly, multiple of them, but all I can say is that it's not called Untitled Jimmy Olsen Show. Well, it's comfortable territory for Tony Yacenda and I. We've worked in this crime mystery comedy for a long time. There's definitely tools from that toolkit that we can apply here that I don't think has been seen in the superhero genre thus far. So I'm excited. We get more of our boy the Rizzler. We get more of this world that we really loved with Superman. So yeah, this is gonna be awesome.
John, your thoughts on the genre, the crime mystery comedy? How would you pitch this to me? Because I was having a hard time trying to figure out like what this looks like in my mind in terms of what they'll be talking about. Because initially they pitched this almost like the rumors were that this was like a workplace comedy. So
do you remember on Netflix the show American Vandal? It was like a parody of Making a Murderer. And like a satire of like true crime stuff. Do you remember that show?
Right. Yes. Okay.
The co-showrunners are doing this show. The guys who created American Vandal, which was a show I fucking loved, and I'm still pissed they canceled it after 2 seasons. But they did that show, and now they're doing this show. So that's like the vibe we're getting with this, and I couldn't be like. It's like, guys, I was already excited. I already want to see this. You don't have to like add more, because I didn't realize that they were the showrunners, because I don't think they were ever like announced. So like, I'm super.
I don't think so. No. This is
that
new information.
God, Who Drew the Dicks? Yeah. It was just, God, that was because what was so great about that show, and I'll sell it to you because. Like if you have not seen it, I definitely recommend. It's crass, but it's like it's funny. What's so good is that it's not only a brilliant satire of true crime. So if you like true crime stuff, you'd probably like it. But like very tongue in cheek, kind of making fun of it, but also like clearly people who love that genre are doing it. But the thing is, what was so good about both seasons is that they were such well executed mysteries that the twists and turns were like. Oh, I thought it was going to be this. Oh, shit, no, it's like this. Oh, my God, no, my theory was like this. Oh, no, it's like that. And then it like, keeps you on your, like, it's a genuinely good mystery, but at the same time, it's making fun of true crime. So, it did both aspects really well. And plus, it's also, like, genuinely funny. Now, I will say season 2 is a little bit grosser because it's essentially one giant poop joke, but they managed to do the impossible by making poop jokes funny. So, like... I will give them that. And with that, they probably went too far by making it about poop, and that's probably why they got canceled. But even with that, we got 2 great seasons, and it was, oh my god, it was so good. It was so ahead of its time, and it just such a great show. And what you could tell that these guys loved the mystery, loved writing comedy. So the fact that they're doing like a crime mystery, which is like kind of like a film noir kind of esque, but it's also you're gonna throw comedy in there. So I mean, the best way I can describe this show is their previous show, which was American Vandal,
Okay.
because it's like it's in the same vein.
I
It's a
think you
crime
might have
mystery
sold me
comedy.
on this. I did not think that's what this was getting at, but wow, okay. So they got the right people.
But like
attached to this.
instead of like parodying or satirizing true crime, it's I assume it's like satirizing like, you know, journalism, like kind of vibe stuff, like that kind of like you know what I expect this to be? I expect this to be like a satire of stuff like All the President's Men, but it's like a comedy. Like that's what I like am kind of getting the vibe from this.
So what's the name of the show again? Because like if somebody doesn't know,
American
like,
Vandal. American Vandal. It's oh my god, it's such a funny show. Again, if you like, there is a lot of like low brow, like kind of humor, like Jimmy Tatro. I don't know if you know who he is. Great comedy actor.
Grodd is in the
He was
show,
in 22 Jump Street. He was the hey look, it's my tattoo, the red herrings, like that guy.
Oh, that guy. Okay.
Yes, so that guy,
Yes.
he was in it. He was the friend of Wyatt Russell. You thought he was the big guy, but it turns out not to be. So he's in
he was
it,
the dealer,
and then
or not dealer.
Griffin Gluck is in it, who was also in Lock and Key, and a couple other people. Not a ton of famous people, but like because it's mostly like unknown kids. But it's still, oh my god, it was such a good show. It was funny, but it was well written. That's what like made the show work. And you're like, you're so invested. And god, it was so good. It was so good.
Yeah. This is I did not know, because like MTG mentioned those guys we were told were working on something DC, but we weren't told they were working on this DC. So that all of a sudden I think has me excited, especially if they are filming.
Whether it's this
Atlanta.
show or another show, like I'm excited for whatever they have in store. Whether it's like the Superman spinoff, for Jimmy Olsen, whether it's the Jimmy Olsen show or something else, I'm excited for. Like whatever they do, I'm pumped for, because that would be awesome.
I mean, also the idea that they're going to be filming this probably in Atlanta to begin. I think there were reports around that not too long ago. That to me is a good sign, because Man of Tomorrow, I think, starts filming in Atlanta as well.
Mm-hmm.
So James Gunn won't be probably more than a few feet away from whatever. I can imagine like him walking over to the sound stage and keeping a close eye on this. So yeah, I think the quality control will be there, and obviously trusting the right people with the property. To me, it kind of sounds a little bit also like, you know, the way Psych kind of was a bit of a parody of the crime procedural. And in a lot of ways, this and yet it like found a way to like parody the genre, but at the same time give us some really good stuff along the way that felt original, and like adding to the genre as well in terms of what was possible. So yeah, and then Gorilla Grodd being in the first season, that's exciting.
I just find it so funny that all these villains of these heroes are making their appearances before the actual heroes.
I know.
Like you have Clayface, you have Gorilla Grodd, you have Cersei. You know, it's just, I find that to be kind of amusing.
It's a little concerning for me, as long as as long as they can, at the end of the day, get us to that point where we, you know, get that Flash movie whenever that happens, and obviously they put together the Brave and the Bold script sooner than later. But yeah, Gorilla Grodd would be fun. This was the quote from. Did you read this already? I don't know. This was a quote from the guys. That
It was in the other articles, so that's what I was. Yeah, this was when he mentioned Tony Yasenda. Because I'm like, Tony Yasenda. I'm like, I know that fucking name, so I looked it up, and I'm like, fucking American Vandal. God damn.
Nice. That's exciting. I'm actually looking forward to this because again, we never had anybody put the pieces together reporting wise that these guys were working on DC and working on this particular show. The show still doesn't really have a name, so we're sort of speculating.
Yeah, I mean, he says
Jimmy
he's just
Olsen.
like, it's not going to be called Untitled Jimmy Olsen Show. That's the
Right.
most we have, but it's not going to be called DC Crime, which was reported way back when. So yeah,
that was debunked by James Gunn.
Yeah. So it's just like, oh, goddamn, this is like, because like even like ignoring all that, it's just like Jimmy Olsen rarely gets like any sort of love. The fact that because of him and to a much greater extent Eve Tessmacher were the kind of real heroes of the movie in a way, it just like, I don't know, it just, Jimmy Olsen has just been kind of shit on for so long, but it's like, I get it because he's like kind of the dumbass in distress trope, even worse than, you know, Lois Lane. I get it, but like he has evolved since then, and it's nice to show that yes, he has evolved, and it's just like he's more than just, you know, a guy to be saved. He's Superman's pal. Like he's the audience surrogate in a way. So the fact that like we're getting this show to show that like, hey, Jimmy Olsen's actually pretty awesome. Not just as the Rizzler, just, you know, he's awesome.
Yeah. This is exciting. I don't know why I put this in quick, as I feel like we should spend more time on this, but I guess we'll see when we get more details about the show. But this is a great start. And already clearly I've been working on this for a while, so I'm excited to see where this takes us, and hopefully it'll be out next year. I mean, I hope we're not having to wait for this for like 2-3 years. Time that would be 2027, baby. Like that's starting to fill out quite well between Man of Tomorrow, the Batman Part 2, and possibly this.
I did hear The Residence was good, but that also got canceled after one season. So
yeah. Well, but hey, Jimmy Olsen. I mean, this is gonna be an HBO, right? I mean, as far as we're aware, we don't really know for sure, but I'd imagine it would be an HBO thing. So that would be where we find it. Much like where we find Lanterns. So Ron is Ron here in the chat? Oh, he is here in the chat. Hello, Ron. You've been here this whole time. All right. Thank you for revealing your existence. Let's keep going.
But guys, Supergirl has been delayed a week in France. So we got you with that clickbait. But
yeah, thankfully it's not that much, because I mean with France, I mean, well, this happens in some territories. It might be because there's some local competitor, or maybe something else. The reasons usually aren't that significant. It's a week, you know. The people in France can just stay off the internet.
Those fucking who cares? Who cares about what the fucking French think? Bunch of losers.
C'est inacceptable, as Tony would say. I don't know. It's the French are going to have a heart attack. I'm sure the French will be fine. The French already have to deal with, like, they don't get to see any movie that comes out in theaters and streaming for 18 months. They can wait a week for this movie to come out. So. Yeah. Anyway. That's all the quick hits for now, the DC quick hits. John, let's dive into some more important conversation as far as the Lanterns drama, the Green Saga, as it were, continues before the show even drops. So to set the stage, and then you can kind of walk us through what happened today. Grant Morrison on his Substack wrote out about how he just was tired of, like, you know, this Lantern show not embracing the comic book aspects of the Green Lanterns. Hello, Pacer Land. But then Damon Lindelof kind of like apologized for his dumb comments, his self-professed dumb comments about why green is not in the name of the show. And of course, you know, since then Grant Morrison has responded to Damon Lindelof's apology. Let's talk about it. Like, can you walk us through what happened, and then let's talk about, I guess, you know, the aftermath.
And he said this: I don't know Damon Lindelof personally, but he's clearly a talented writer and by all accounts a decent guy. Well, talented writer is pushing it, but the apology he wrote over this whole thing was gracious, measured, and full of class. Even I have to agree with that. that green equals stupid comment of his struck me as careless, especially coming from someone involved in a Green Lantern project, saying that to Green Lantern fans. I came across some angry fan reactions to the show's teaser, saw the interview link in the comments, and his tone just rubbed me the wrong way. I mean, I think it did for a lot of people, even if it was just a joke. I felt like venting a bit, just enough to pad out a paragraph or two in my weekly post. I never imagined those heated complaints would be taken seriously, let alone spread this far. Making a show is hard, with negative press on top of that is even harder. Agreed. I regret that my words pushed him into having to respond publicly, and I apologize to him. I genuinely thought he'd never see something I posted on a subscriber platform for diehard readers. I never expected an offhand remark to be amplified like this. So, you know, Grant Morrison was gracious. He's like, you know what? It's hard. It's hard out here for these bitches. Let's just let bygones be bygones and move the fuck on.
I mean, what do you make of it? I mean, obviously, it just seems like, you know, this is, I guess, simmering to a close, this whole saga, as it were. But I still think the fans have concerns, valid concerns. But clearly, I think, well, you know, he said offhanded comment. Offhanded is probably underplaying it. When you include it in, because here's the thing, Substack is a subscriber-based platform. It is behind a paywall, but that also means the people that do subscribe really want to like listen to what you have to say, and therefore that message will get amplified. And obviously I think it spoke, like what happened spoke a lot to how much the fans care about this franchise. And well, it seems like, you know, the whole idea, like I understand that making TV shows is hard, it is, but making a creative decision like what Andy Muschietti did with the CGI in The Flash, or you know, the decision to not really give us a lot of green in the marketing so far for the show, and really even before the trailer came out, not really talking up the cosmic aspects of the characters, is a decision. Is it a hard decision? Sure, it's about as hard as any other creative decision they've made, but it's more about like fundamentally they've chosen to go in a particular direction over another direction. So I don't think it changes any of that. It's just I appreciate that Grant Morrison. I mean, he's not somebody who's made TV shows. The world of the world of television is not his world. He comes from the comic book sphere. Damon Lindelof works in the TV sphere. So I think the both of them are, you know, they respect each other, the challenge of each other's, you know, preferred, you know, lane, as it were, professionally. And so I appreciate that aspect of it. I still, for myself, like we said, I think it doesn't change the fact that we all want to see, if they got cosmic stuff, show it to us in the next trailer. We all want to see, you know, like what this show is going to give us beyond just a Western buddy cop thriller, mystery, murder mystery. Because if that's all there is, then I think a lot of people will be disappointed, and we hope there's more to it. And they've hinted at it, but we need to, like, the marketing should give us a bit more. I don't know, John, where do you sit with these comments?
I mean, I pretty much agree with what you've been saying this whole time. It's it's just kind of like, it feels weird with how all of this has gone on. It just feels weird, is weird, like, I don't know, it just, and I'm glad I'm not alone. Like, I just watched it and I'm like, this rubs me the wrong way, and yeah, let's kind of like try to get on the up and up, you know, like try to improve.
No, I agree.
That's the best they can do.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, it's, you're not wrong, and I think it's completely fair. So we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, do you think there's another trailer on the way anytime soon? Or like when, because I mean, we know now it's coming out in August, so if you were to think about it, CinemaCon is probably not a good place to put it because it's more about movies. Like HBO's got House of the Dragon coming out, maybe around that time they might put it out there. So yeah, super high decol, but Supergirl is not delayed by, it's just delayed by a month in France. So it's not delayed.
Not even by a month,
US.
more like just like a week.
By a week. Sorry, by a week. It's delayed by a week in France. So I know Manos time, if you're tuning in and I know you're in France, well, you'd have to wait an extra week to watch Supergirl. So stay off the internet for spoilers. But there you go. Yeah, cool. It's gonna be an interesting year ahead because Supergirl and Clayface, And Lanterns have a lot of legwork to do to get us there in terms of keeping the momentum going from what they did last year with Superman, Peacemaker Season 2, Creature Commandos. And yeah, because we got to get to Man of Tomorrow and keep the hype up. And James Gunn's going to be busy filming that for most of this year. So the marketing and then the product itself, the movies and the TV show have to do what they got to do to earn the fans' interest, because fans can easily go watch a Spider-Man movie. They can go watch Avengers Doomsday. They can be watching Vision Quest, Daredevil Born Again. There's lots of competition. There's plenty of options as well. So, yeah. Well, the gauntlet is down, and we'll see what it turns into. But Grant Morrison and Damon Lindelof have squashed their beef. So there it is.
Yep.
Oop, there it is. You looking for this? Anyway, I'm kind of mixing up my references, but we're actually, John, we have a tier list Tuesday coming up. Do you got that link? I don't know if you have. I wanted to kind of pitch that quick to anybody who's watching. We implore you to stick around because we would love for you to join us for the Sir President Christopher Nolan movies rankings that we will be doing. I believe he has done a total of, if I'm counting them correctly, are there like 13? Let me see. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
12.
Oh, there's 12?
12 soon to be 13, I think.
12 to be, okay. See, I knew the number was not that far off the mark. So yeah, we'll be ranking all of the ones minus the Odyssey, because of course nobody's really seen it yet. I'm sure Christopher Nolan himself hasn't seen the final cut. But yes, we'll be ranking all of Christopher Nolan's movies. You guys voted for this in the poll last week. It got tied. The Wolverine movies came out on top by 2 percentage points when we closed the poll, and then ultimately the poll will finish with the ties, after we were live. So we figured we'd do that as a topic this week. So Tier List Tuesday coming up. Give us like 10-15 minutes. The live event will come up on YouTube. Tune in there. And then we will join you for Tier List Tuesday, and we'll put up the link for the poll as well. Until then, keep hope alive, like Enterprising is saying, and like Ron always says, fight for Batman. And with that, thank you, Tony. Thank you, Caleb. Thank you, Enterprising, Monique, and everybody else who was joining us live. And if you might be watching after the fact, hit the like button, hit subscribe. Please do hit subscribe. We do appreciate it. Get in the comments. Let us know what you'd like to see on this Friday's Fancast Friday, if you have any ideas for topics. I'm working on the poll as we speak. But with that said, we'll see you in a few minutes on Tier List Tuesday. Until then, John, as per always, we are what from the beginning?
Blessed.
Yes.
It's another project that's been blessed from the beginning.
There's the shot right there. That.
Okay, we don't need to see
right there.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
Now you want to get nuts?
Let's get nuts.
Here we go.
Victory mine. Ask me how am I doing? I'm telling you really I'm doing sublime. I never wait in a stewardess line. I just go do it. I'm moving my time. Really had nothing to do with it. How am I moving? I'm moving like you want to shine. Follow my lead. Don't listen to lies. I had to put me all on the line. That's why I know that victory's mine.
I prefer Jared Leto. Hunka hunka.
Fuck Tom King, David Ellison, and Jeff Snyder. And that's it.